All right, YouTube. And Twitch, because you're watching on Twitch as well. We're going to do a deck profile. We're going to do a deck profile. We're going to look at Gardevoir today. This little Gardevoir list that we put ourselves together here. Take a look at it. So, we have our traditional stuff. We have our regular Gardevoir stuff, but there is something that you're going to see missing here. Something very important that's missing from this Gardevoir list. There's no Drifloon. What happened? There's no Drifloon. Well, we have instead opted for a second Screamtail. Now, there's two Screamtails in this list. After extensive playing of Gardevoir over the past few months, I have noticed that I'm getting more value out of Screamtail attacks than I am from Drifloon, especially in the item lock scenarios, because there's two item lock scenarios that are going to be very important that I'm going to explain here. And one of them I found out very recently. But Screamtail, if you do not have your own Budew, and they only have an uncharmed Budew in the active, Screamtail can attack for one psychic energy for 30 damage. That breaks the item lock very early on. You don't have to sit there and let them get their board state set up while you have to struggle. One thing that's going to be very important for a lot of Gardevoir decks to learn how to do is play around item lock, because you run two Buddy Poffins, we run two Earthen Vessels, we run two Rare Candies. There's a lot of items that we rely on in this Gardevoir list, right? Secret Box, obviously, one of the better cards to run in Gardevoir, in my opinion. But get yourselves familiar with Brock Scouting. Brock Scouting has been integral in this deck. Not only can you search up to two basic Pokemon, which can be anything. It can be your combo of Clefairy and Mew. You can grab your Clefairy, you can grab your Mew, and then instantly have an answer for Dragapult. You can grab yourself two Ralts. You can grab yourself a Ralts and a Munkidori, because there's no HP limit. There's no limit on Rulebox Pokemon. You can grab yourself whatever you want to from your basic Pokemon pool. You can even get yourself a Budew if you wanted to. Go for it. But the other part about Brock Scouting is it allows you to grab up to one evolution Pokemon if you're not grabbing yourself a basic. So if you're item locked and you're struggling to find your Kirlias and you have a Gardevoir in hand with Rare Candy but you're item locked, you can use Brock Scouting and grab Kirlia and evolve to Kirlia on that turn if you need to, or if you're able to. And then follow up turn, you have Gardevoir. So then you're chilling. We run two Brock Scouting in this list because it does end up being very useful for the aforementioned combo of grabbing Clefairy and Mew at a late game state. But you can also just use it twice to grab Kirlia and then Gardevoir, and then you're cooking. You're in a pretty good spot. Morty's Conviction at a 2 of right now has been fairly good. The ability to discard cards and a refinement-like option that does not rely on Pokemon abilities or does not rely on item cards. Another way to play around item lock. So you can use Morty's Conviction to discard a psychic energy and draw as many cards as your opponent has Pokemon on the bench. Very, very cool. It could be anywhere from 1 to up to 8 cards. Pretty significant considering if you have pieces in your hand you don't want to discard with say Research, but you have 1 or 2 energies that you can discard, Morty's becomes very valuable in that respect. Pretty darn good card, if I do say so myself. We have our regular stuff that we have in here, you know, Buddy Poffin at a 2 of. I know it seems a bit low, but that paired up with the 2 Nest Balls and the 2 Brock Scouting, I guarantee you're not going to feel it. Now that we don't run Drifloon in this list, we're only able to grab Budew and Ralts with Buddy Poffin, so it becomes a little less of a payoff to have a Buddy Poffin in the opening hand. It is still valuable, obviously, but we have ways to grab it. We can get it with Arven, we can get it with Secret Box. Lots of different ways. We have an Artazon in the deck. Speaking of, we only have 1 Artazon in this list. I know, blasphemy. Guardy usually runs 2. However, with the advent in current meta that everyone does seem to be running Artazon to get around item lock, it's not as necessary to have 2, which frees up our second stadium slot to be something a little bit more spicy. We run Lively Stadium. A little bit more lively than normal. Lively Stadium gives every basic Pokemon in the play area 30 plus HP. That means Ralts has 100 HP. That means Budew has 60 HP. That means Clefairy has 220 HP. Mew, 210. Munkidori, 140. And Fezandipiti, 240. So if you're running Flutter main, which I would highly recommend running either Flutter Mane or Klefki, because if you run into Iron Thorns, it's basically an auto loss. If you're running into a Quad Thorns, you do not have an ability to use your EXs pretty much at any point in time. So Flutter Mane and Klefki are basically locks in this deck. I think you absolutely need them. It is also very nice to have Flutter Mane in the mirror against Gardevoir, because you can lock a Gardevoir if they don't have a second Gardevoir set up. You can gust up a Gardevoir, lock it into the active with Flutter Mane, give yourself a bit of breathing room, a bit of extra time. You can lock in Latias into the active slot as well if they don't have ways to retreat it. You can stop Zoroark draw with Flutter Mane. You can stop Golden Go draw with Flutter Mane. Lots of different ways to disrupt your opponent on their turns with Flutter Mane. Great inclusion in the deck. As I was saying, Lively Stadium allows for a lot more options in this deck. Now we run 3 Bravery Charms in this as well. We run 3 Bravery Charms. So Charming Budew in Budew Wars, or situations where they have Duskulls, or situations where they have early knockouts on Budew so that your item lock will not be as effective. Always nice to charm the Budew, but it gives you the extra reach that you can use the Bravery Charm with at a count of 3. Perfectly fine. But the other part is now, all of a sudden, Screamtail gets to have extended damage. So without a Bravery Charm, Screamtail, with Lively Stadium in play, has 120 HP. So now all of a sudden, you can put 5 energy on Screamtail without a charm and hit for 200 damage. With a charm, Screamtail goes to a whopping 170 HP, and for the 8 energy that we have in the deck currently, we run 8 Psychic Energy in this list, which for some reason the difference between 7 and 8 is actually significant, because if I play 7, I never find my Psychic. If I play 8, I find my Psychic all the time, so I don't know. If anyone out there has an explanation for that, please leave a comment. I have no idea how that works. Both paper and online, it's been like that for me ever since I've played it. Either way, I don't understand it. So, for 8 energy, Screamtail can get 160 damage on it with the 170 HP thanks to Bravery Charm and Lively Stadium to hit anything on the field for a tactical nuke of 320 damage. You heard that correctly. Yes. Screamtail all of a sudden becomes a tactical nuclear missile in this deck. It is ridiculous. It is amazing late game potential. The same thing works with Drifloon as well, but Drifloon can only attack in a straight line, whereas Screamtail can attack anything on the board. As long as it's not a Terra on the bench, it is dead. It is knocked out. It is gone. So that is a very strong point behind this deck, is a very timely Lively Stadium. It'd mean the difference between finishing off a game very quickly or missing out on what you need to hit. But things like Arcaludon, you can one-shot an Arcaludon on the bench with Screamtail for 320 damage. You can one-shot Salamence between Monkey. If you Monkey 10 damage over, you can knock out a Salamence in one hit. You can knock out an active Dragapult in one shot. You can reach a Charizard numbers with a 10 damage off of Monkey. Tons of options of what you can do. Lots of ways to get there. And it's all comes down to Lively Stadium and Bravery Charm as a combination. It's very, very strong. And one last thing that I will say has been a welcome addition into this deck has been Redeemable Ticket. Now, I'm not sure about you, Gardevoir players out there, Gardevoir enthusiasts, but however, running 2 Gardevoirs has been very spooky, because I have more than one time prized both Gardevoirs. I have also taken kindly to starting prizing all of my Munkidoris or all of my Ralts. So having a 3 of Ralts and prizing all 3 Ralts seems impossible, but it happens. Prizing both Munkidoris in a matchup where you need Munkidoris also happens, and prizing both Gardevoirs is very sad Panda times, very sad Umbreon times. So, what I will say, Redeemable Ticket, I haven't had to use it yet. I believe I will have to use it at some point in time, but the option is there. If it is not something I need, at least I can use it for Earthen Vessel fodder, Ultra Ball fodder, Morty's fodder. It is very, very, very nice to have. One thing I will say is if you're using Redeemable Ticket, be sure to deck check. Check your deck religiously get in the habit of checking your deck, because if you look and see, oh man, my Clefairy and Mew are prized, I have Redeemable Ticket though, I can use that. Get your Pokemon that you want into play, get your situations that you want into play, if you, whatever else, use Redeemable Ticket to guarantee that the things that you want are still in play, and the things that you don't want are going in your prizes, and the things that you want from your prizes are now back in your deck. Redeemable Ticket can save you games, I promise you. And just having this in my deck has scared the deck shuffler, at least online, and I'm assuming it will be in person as well. Because my prizing, I've solitaired some prizing in my physical deck, and it has had some very bad draws in there. So Redeemable Ticket would definitely have saved me a number of games in person as well. So that has been a welcome addition to this deck as well. So we have our 1 of Turos, our 4 of Ionos, our 2 of Research. The 1 of Arven, I don't agree with taking out Arven entirely. I think Arven as a 1 of is perfectly fine, because we do have lots of items that we can search. We do have the tools that we can grab. Grabbing a secret box on command is very nice, but late game Arven can turn into a counter catcher. Arven can turn into a secret box. Arven can turn into a Night Stretcher, and which could turn the game entirely. So just having access to Arven, pretty strong. So overall, we have an 8-2 split of 2 Dark, 8 Psychic. Been very, very good. This deck currently is sitting at a 7-0 in games on live, and those games have not been easy games. They have been against opponents who have gotten everything they wanted to do. They've gotten their combos off, and we've been able to outplay them in every single one of our games that we've played so far. So take a look at Gardevoir. It's not dead. It's not the Henry Chow list, but you know, it's a list that I think is very playable. It's a list that is very powerful. It's a list that doesn't require Zoroark. I don't think I've had any issues drawing cards. Most of the games that I've played so far, I've had a healthy amount of draw. I've had a healthy amount of access. This goes out and grabs cards that you want without items. I think that's much better than chancing it in a draw. We still have the chance of the draws in this deck as well if you like drawing cards and like gambling. So take a look at it. Give me your feedback if the deck works for you. Let me know what matchups that you've had. Excited to see. Tune in next time. Check out our games. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. See you in the next video.